Welcome back to PhaseTwo podcast. We are honored today to have Ryan, fellow weekend warrior, on the cast with us. Welcome aboard, Ryan.
Thank you. Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it. So is it PhaseTwo officially?
Okay, so we were just talking, and a lot of people, it's very controversial, the name of our podcast.
Super controversial.
A lot of people, last week, Mac was saying that PhaseTwo kind of sounds like, oh, are you sick? Like, is it PhaseTwo like cancer or like PhaseTwo coronavirus or something like that?
So we're not inviting him back.
Yeah.
But we thought PhaseTwo would be
the name.
cool because it's something that they really say in Korean a lot, che iye inseng. So our first life of being basketball players is over, and now we're on our second phase.
Okay.
So that's why we thought PhaseTwo.
Yeah. What you're not going
Not
with
feeling
it?
it? It's not hitting you?
Not really.
It
doesn't resound.
It's good. I mean, but,
he said it's good.
but
That's what people say when they think it's really bad.
It sounds like you're talking
Yeah,
about
it's good. It's good.
It sounds like
Yeah.
you're talking like a fat chick that you did. Like how was she? Oh, she was really nice.
she
was
was fun. You know, she has a good personality.
So if it's not PhaseTwo, then what should it be then? Come on, give us some ideas here.
My favorites were definitely number one would be the Soul Brothers.
Soul Brothers. Soul SEOUL.
Yeah, it kind of plays on because isn't Soul's new theme like We Soul You or something? I've seen that all over the subway system.
Mimi Wee.
Mimi Wee, the Gangnam one, yeah. So maybe Soul Brothers or Brotherly Love. I thought that was pretty cool.
We're not from Philly though.
That's all right.
It's all right?
You know, we all grew up with Fresh Prince, and you know.
True.
Yeah.
I guess we
We'll
go
be
that
done.
route. So you're suggesting, let me get this straight. You're suggesting that we should change the name of our extremely successful PhaseTwo podcast to Brotherly Love.
I think the listeners would be upset, but you know they could back that.
For the people in Muskogee, Wisconsin right now.
Honestly, I don't know that I'm married to PhaseTwo yet either, but it did sound like a good idea at the time, which so many of our ideas sound like great ideas at the time. Me and Eric were like going to go on a motorcycle trip a while ago. And so the first thing we did was make Sons of Anarchy leather vests,
Right.
which was probably not the first place to start for that trip because it's time consuming. It's a whole deal. And then we were like on the internet for like literally a whole basketball season. Like, oh, we're gonna need guns, man. We're two Asian guys going through Wisconsin, Montana. We're gonna need guns. People are gonna fuck with us, and we don't have the protection of like the Hell's Angels, like a whole group of people. And so, but it sounded like a good idea at the time. But we ended up not going on that trip. So
It's probably best. Yeah, I think you don't want to represent kind of the wrong people. And from what I've seen of Sons of Anarchy, you don't want to mess with those guys.
But to be fair, we got a lot of like love wearing our cuts around Korea.
yeah.
Because people actually thought that we were a biker group.
You did make them?
Yeah, we ended up making them. We got,
Of course we made them.
we got the vest, and then people would be like, we made our own biker club and called El Camino,
Right.
and which sounded like a good idea at the time.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were like, I think I've heard of you guys. Like other guys at the Korean biker bars would be like, yeah, I think I've heard of you guys. You guys rolling from Incheon, right?
What
then-
kind of Korean biker bars are there?
Dude, there's
is this
They
a thing?
exist, man.
There's
It's
a
a
lot,
whole thing.
So
Really?
we're riding around because after we retired,
It's awesome.
we made these these cuts and went and we were heavy in the Sons of Anarchy. And then we decided to do a tour of Korea, right? So we're riding around and we got the cuts. We look pretty official, you know? And then we stopped in some bars where like, these other bikers were out there. You know, you could see the bikes.
Kunsan was where it was.
Kunsan was big.
Kunsan,
and Osan,
okay.
a lot of these places are big. So we went down there and then on the back it said El Camino, you know, and then under, we had like the Compass Rose as our main sign. And then underneath it said Dead Reckoning. And so people are like, yeah, I've heard of you guys, man. So what's you
It
guys
looked fucking official.
But people be asking questions like, yo, what's your membership like?
You know, like, it's kind of like a family thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was, we got a lot of love though. Like a lot of people were.
What you may not know is in Korea, a lot of the military bases have chapters of American biker clubs. So like one of the most original biker gangs, what is it? BFMC? Booze Fighters.
Booze Fighters.
This is the one that Marlon Brando did in, what was the song? Young and Reckless or
Young Riders?
one of his first movies where Marlon Brando's the head of a biker gang. I forget what it's called. But anyways, that was based off these guys. So these guys are like pretty famous before the Hells Angels.
Okay.
Yeah.
I had no idea that culture existed.
Yeah, man.
You need to get a bike and join our gang, man.
Can it be called a gang with 2 people, or do we have to go? At
Three's
least
a
above
gang.
10?
Three's a gang. So
Three's
that's
a
why we're
gang?
trying to recruit you.
Yeah.
I don't think my
Oh wait,
wife's
three's a
gonna
crowd.
Like that.
Three's a crowd.
Three's a crowd. I think 10's a gang, right?
Damn it.
So I don't know if the wife's gonna allow me to take a bike. Can a scooter work?
Just think about it. Just think about
Scooter
it.
can't work.
Kickboard.
No.
A kickboard?
But do you ride motorcycles?
I don't. I rode like ATVs as a kid, 4-wheelers, some dirt bikes, but I'm just too big, you know. I can't get the same speed that the little guys get. So it was mainly just ATVs.
But you never thought about getting a motorcycle?
No,
never.
too scary. My friend Nate, he went to Thailand for a month and had a scooter. So he loaned it to me. He's like, use it while I'm gone, have fun with it. And I started getting way too confident with it. So the first week I was hesitant. I was, waiting in line in traffic. And then that's actually worse in Korea.
Rookie.
So then I started getting confident going up above the line.
On the sides.
Yeah, kind of cruising through. And then by the third week, I'm like having a couple bottles of soju, kind of cruising home, like way too confident. And then the last week I just said, I can't ride this anymore.
So you never got in like an
kill
accident or anything. You just got too confident and scared yourself by your level of confidence.
Well, the last time I rode it, I think it was like 6:30 in the morning, right after breakfast, after being in a club all night, and then riding home. I'm like, this is not going to end well.
This is Daejeon or this is Seoul?
This is in Daejeon.
Okay.
This is in the hometown. Yeah. So I got way too confident and just decided.
I've actually I've had 2 accidents and they've both been on scooters, never on a motorcycle. I think when I get on a motorcycle, I'm scared of the power of the beast. So it's like when you change the blinds in poker. A lot of people are good at $2 blinds in Texas Hold'em. You raise the blinds and then people are like, ooh, they get freaked out. That's like me. I'm like you with the scooter. I get comfortable and I get in accidents. Never happened on a motorcycle because I'm scared shitless of the thing.
Yeah. Well, it's not really the motorcycle that scares me. It's more the people around you. And just
it's always like that.
their inexperience with motorcycles and scooters and drivers.
Yeah.
It's always like that. I mean, usually like when you're riding, it's never the operator error that causes an accident. Usually, the majority of accidents are by other people, like not seeing you, not being aware, or like the rider not being able to react in time when something crazy happens. Like just a while ago, I mean, I got hit, like on a bike. I've been hit twice on a motorcycle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was in Seoul?
No, we were coming back from Yangyang, and we were passing some cars. Luckily, we weren't going very fast. We were going maybe like 30 kilometers an hour. And then we were passing a car, and the car just decided to change lanes and ran into me. And threw me off my bike.
How's the bike?
Bike was,
I like how you didn't ask about it.
How are you?
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Love
Thanks a lot.
that.
I'm fine, by the way.
Previously, yeah.
No, I mean, like, I'm all right. Like, luckily, I didn't get hurt. My helmet and bike got totally fucked up. But, I mean, it's good that I was able to kind of, like, avert the danger and jump off the bike.
Wear protective equipment. That's the main thing. That helmet was literally smashed to bits. And
my helmet, gloves, like, everything I had that was protective, like, definitely worth the money, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
How's your biker gang jacket? Did it hold up?
It actually stood the test of time. We had it made down in Pyeongtaek, so it was like a jacket that we made. But like sliding on the concrete, even at like a slow speed, like it absorbed all that. Like
did you throw away the jacket?
No.
It probably looks cooler with all those like battle scars on it, huh?
Yeah, it looks pretty cool.
Or does it? Or did it get fucking destroyed? I haven't seen it.
Like the arms got some like holes in it, but I mean,
That's probably cool. You probably catch Mr. Tony down in Songtan if you're listening.
It's not a winter jacket.
Shout out.
But it's definitely glad that I had all that stuff on.
Now, were you able to avoid it at all, or did you not see it coming?
No, see, like what happened was like I was behind the car, and then he changed lanes, and so I passed to take his spot, and then he decided that he wanted to go back in the lane that
Change
he was
your heart.
Yeah, so he changed, and then I didn't have time to react because like if I would have like gone out of the way, I would have put myself into the barrier.
Which is crazy because I do that all the time when I'm on the freeway. Like, you're like, you change lanes and you're like, oh, this lane's going faster. And then you change back into the lane, never having a full change lane. Do you ever do that when you're driving, or you're more of a safer?
I'm grandmother behind the wheel.
Okay.
You know, I might, if the speed limit's 100, I might get to 105 or so, 108 if I'm feeling crazy.
Okay.
I'm a
Let your
cruiser.
hair down.
Just cruise. But my dad rides bikes a lot.
Okay. More of a daredevil.
More of a daredevil, over 30 tattoos, more of like, he'd actually fit into your gang a little bit better than I would.
Could you maybe give us his information after we're done?
Sure.
What did your dad ride? He rides Harleys or?
He does, yeah. When I was a kid, he rode a Harley, some different variations, would trade a lot.
Uh-huh.
He went to a crotch rocket
Oh,
at kind of one point. He thought it would be fun.
those
just
are
to
really
have that.
uncomfortable to ride
Not
if you're big. Is he as big as you?
Yeah, he's just probably 6'4", probably 250, big guy. Yeah.
Did he used to hoop or play ball or anything?
He was a baseball player.
Oh, just like you.
Yeah, like baseball.
Apple doesn't fall too far from the tree.
Wait, so you got into baseball because of your dad, but not bikes?
Not bikes. Well, he switched to this Crocs rocket. I think it's in 2 weeks or 3 weeks. He had an accident, and that's when he switched back to Harleys. He said, you know, people couldn't hear him coming as much. He said actually the loud Harley sound was
I could see that.
a lot safer. You know, other cars were more aware of you, and
I heard that a lot with electric cars because they're so like, you know, you get your Prius and no one can hear you, especially people are jogging with their earphones in and stuff like that, where they were kind of like, oh, these cars, they don't make any noise, but they should make some noise to alert some people. They're too stealthy.
I know a lot of people, like when they're riding, like they adjust their muffler to make it louder.
I think there's a mode on the Tesla you can change and actually
Really?
simulate I'm
Right
not
next to the
sure.
fart button?
Yeah. Do you see the crazy Christmas mode or something they have? They actually put Santa Claus on the screen
Really?
while you're driving.
I mean,
But I mean, he's,
I need a Tesla.
Tesla's
I will get one at one point.
Tesla's doing the most. Like they're like the coolest company.
well, if you've never test driven one, they're always looking for, especially foreigners, to come and test drive those.
Ooh.
So if you go out to the Hanam Starfield, you can set up a test drive. Like me and my wife did it, and it is fun. It's
Which one? The X? Which one did you test
We
drive?
test drove the X. This was before the SUV was in Korea, so that was the option we had. And you know, like I said before, I'm a pretty cautious driver, but this thing is a rocket ship. Like with having no gears and stuff, the guy was saying it's faster than a Porsche 911. As soon as you
I've heard
touch
that.
it just takes off. So my wife and I, we test drove first. You know, we tested a little bit. You know, we pushed the pedal, but then he's like, "All right, let me try it. Let me show you what it can do." And he put it in like hyper mode, and I mean, it just threw me back in the seat.
Wow.
I've never felt anything like that. Even on my dad's Harleys, the crotch rockets, I've never felt that kind of
Really?
you know,
Well,
speed.
on combustion engine, there's always going to be, no matter how responsive it is, there's always a little bit of a lag because, you know, you press a thing that ignites the fuel and it turns the piston. Whereas a Tesla is just the motor's on the wheel. There's not a whole like transfer of energy type deal.
I know, like the place where we bought our motorcycles over there in Chumuro, they have electric bikes there also. And the guy was like telling me, he's like, "No, you should, check this out, take it for a little ride." And I was like, "Yeah, I don't know, like it looks kind of weird, I was like, "No, I'm good." And he's like, "No, seriously, just check it out." I was like, "All right, fine, I'll take it for like a little quick little tour." Right? I jumped on and like, it doesn't have like a clutch or like, it's just it's like a completely different thing, right? You feel like you're on a bike, but it doesn't sound like a bike because it sounds like zzz. Like it just has like this weird sound, but it's super fucking quick. Like compared to my bike, and my bike was, pretty quick. Man, this thing it was insane. It just didn't feel like, it felt like a toy though. It didn't feel like a machine. Like a Tesla kind of feel like that, or?
It did, because before you do the test drive, they walk you through the whole process. You go into the store and you see the frame, and it's aluminum, and you actually, he recommends like you go ahead and feel this frame, feel how light it is. So you're like, is this safe in an accident? Like, is this going to crumble? And he showed us some videos and
Like, yes, this is all the dead people.
I mean, my first car was a Monte Carlo SS, a huge
Black?
1984. No, it was a
Maroon?
white.
There was white ones?
Pearl white. No, my dad had it painted.
Oh, okay, because I thought there was only two colors for Monte
I'm
Carlos. It
thinking
was like
black.
burgundy and black.
With a red stripe.
So he had all the decals taken off and completely painted white. So, I mean, this one is a boat. It's probably 10 times the weight of that Tesla. So you think we grew up those big cars, so you think big is safe. Lots of steel protects you.
Right.
But he showed us videos of the crashes and how it's meant to crumble in certain ways, and it's pretty safe. So, but it did feel like a toy, yeah, when you're driving it.
It's kind of weird because like when I was on the electric bike, I've never driven a Tesla, or I've never actually been in a Tesla before. But like there's something about like when you're on a bike, you can feel like the rumble, like the smell of the gas. Like there's something about like that machine. Like even when you jump in a car, like there's a certain feeling that you get. And I've heard that like Teslas have like a different feeling altogether. Like when I jumped on the electric bike, it didn't feel like a motorcycle. So I wonder like if that's just like, I mean, it might be something that people just got to get used to.
I don't know, man. I felt like I was living in the future. It was cool.
Because like when I was in Amsterdam this past summer, a lot of the taxis are Teslas.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
So like
Europeans, man,
it's ahead of the
they're
game.
so cool.
Because I remember like the first time I went to Europe, like we went around, we saw like Mercedes-Benz as taxis, and I was like, damn, what kind of country is this, man? They got Benz taxis. But then now they got Tesla taxis, and I was like, wow, that's pretty fucking dope.
I remember Europe was the first time I saw the smart car, and I was just like, wow, you guys are like economical. I thought it was stupid, obviously, coming from America. Like, where's your SUV, pussies? But then you think like, oh, they were thinking about climate change before we were. They're smart. Shifting gears just a little bit. So, did you watch the Seinfeld stand-up on Netflix?
I didn't. No.
You didn't.
No,
Okay,
I
totally recommend it.
Okay.
Just one line of that thing that occurs to me now. Now, a little background. Me and Ryan, we've always known each other from like just basketball. I'd see you around from basketball games. I think you knew Eric a lot better than you knew me. Because Eric was always more in the open gyms, and I was always out doing different stuff. But now I think I hang out with you more than any of my other friends.
Well, we got kids, you know.
So Seinfeld says in the thing, he's like, basically, if you're single, I have nothing in common with you. I don't want to fucking just tell me if you're married or single. And if you're single, I weed out half the people. I don't waste my time. And if you're married, then we're speaking the same language. So, just in my life, I think I see you more than any of the friends that I used to see more often when I was single. Do you find that that's kind of the way it's gravitated in your life?
Yeah. I mean, I still play these rec sports in Seoul, and that's mainly just to keep those connections with my friends. It's not even about playing the sports anymore because I got bad knees. I'm pretty washed up, but it's
Tell me about it.
I'm just there for the camaraderie at this point. I'm there for the high fives.
For sure.
I'm like, oh yeah. Go ahead, man. You go play. I'll chill here. I'll stand on the side. But I mean, when you have kids and you're married, you have to really put an effort into keeping relationships open with your friends. So, yeah, I think I see you about more than anybody else does.
No, but I mean, like, is it also like this, like type of thing? Like, obviously, you guys are both married, both have kids around the same age, but then also is it like your wives get along?
Yeah.
So like say
That's
even
awesome.
like it's like you probably have other married friends where maybe your wives don't get along, or maybe you don't get along with the wife, or whatever it may be. And then like that situation could be difficult because it's got to be the whole package, right?
Oh, it's tough to fit all the levers into place.
Yeah, if your wife doesn't like someone, you can't hang out.
The only people that don't get along are kids, but they're warming up to each other.
They're getting better.
Leah stopped hitting Jack as frequently.
She gave him a little leb tap last
No, and I
week,
think Jack's getting tougher though too. He's not like getting pushed around by.
It's probably like thanks
anymore.
to Leah because Leah's been tough with him.
That's part of it. I think it's those assholes at Odiniship too, like at daycare. I think they're trying to steal his toys and stuff, and he's finally standing up for himself.
Well, my daughter is a bit of a thug.
But she's softened up, I've noticed.
She has, but I think that started in Malaysia.
I disagree with you because after you came back from Malaysia, that's when we were hanging out a lot, and that's when she was just beating the crap out of my son.
So maybe she
that's
learned
what I
it
mean.
in Malaysia.
But did you?
That's when the violence started.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant that's when the softening started.
That's when the violence
I don't think you know this. So we did, my wife and I, we did a camp in Malaysia.
Right.
So winter camp there. And we took our daughter, I guess she was 11 months at that point. And we put her in a Malaysian daycare. So we didn't really, we did as much research as we could, but we needed some time during the day to be with the students and kind of take care of them. So we found this little like Chinese run daycare nearby, and this was like pretty hood,
Johor Bahru is a pretty nice place.
in Johor Bahru. So it was like there was a huge steel gate to get in, intercom system, like
Concertina wire.
seriously. So we just take Leah up and we just take Leah up and it seemed safe. The kids seemed really happy. We spent, 30 minutes there. We're hanging out and then we're like, all right, Leah, bye-bye. Just kind of left her to the wolves.
But then what? It was like Mortal Kombat pit fighting. What were they doing? Betting on the kids?
I was like,
Kickboxer.
You gotta step it up.
Kumite, baby.
You gotta be hard. So that she was one of the youngest kids there. So this particular school was 6 months till 4 years old.
Oh gosh.
And some of these kids, they were there from 8 in the morning till 10 o'clock at night because of their parents worked in Singapore.
Uh-huh.
So that,
Right.
they ran that school. They were there a lot. And we were just hoping for a few hours a day to have some place where she could play with other kids and give us a small break. So I think the first 3 days she had some stress. She came home the first day and kind of bit me on my arm. And she's never done that.
But you got to do that to survive at daycare. It's going to carry over.
She learned, So after about 2 or 3 days, the stress kind of level went down, and then she started actually having fun. There was a Filipino teacher there. She would give us updates on it. We felt safe, and yeah, she got hood. She got tough, and then unfortunately that spilled over on your son Jack.
Yeah, he got
the brunt of that.
It's like fucking what is it? Cobra Kai. Like she's at Cobra Kai. I'm over there.
Sweep the legs, Johnny.
I'm over with my son doing bonsai tree stuff, and she's over
giving
there.
orange slices. But it is hood, man.
She's hood. That's cool though.
Yeah.
Damn. Well, look. Around this time, we usually get into a little like session that we do where we play a couple games. So I'm gonna do like a little word game with you.
Okay.
And,
all right. Let me get my beer.
Yeah, get your
my coffee.
Get your beer. All right. We'll talk about Leah being the king of the daycare or the queen of the daycare later.
Mm-hmm.
But now I got a list of top threes. Okay. So I'm gonna give you a topic, whether it could be pillows or snacks, whatever, and give me your top three.
And we're gonna judge you on your picks. So
Yeah,
Okay.
so-
Do you know the answers to these?
you're making the answers. I'm just gonna judge you whether I agree with your answers or I think you're an idiot.
Okay. So
Okay.
little Steve Harvey.
You ready? You ready?
I'm ready.
Top three Korean beers.
Ooh.
Don't say they're all the same because they're not.
Don't.
They were all the same. So
Okay,
And now?
yeah, I've been here
they're different now.
over 10
for
years
sure.
now, but we're
Okay.
we're evolving. I'm gonna go number 3 as Feelite.
Ooh.
That is your go-to these days.
I'm really on the Feelite because
Is your go-to, but it's number 3?
yeah, well, just because of the price. I'm not sure exactly how it works, but apparently there's not enough barley in it to be considered a beer.
So what is it? A soft drink?
I know it is considered a soft drink.
Really?
Yeah, so
It's like a spritzer or like a KGB or something.
It's just below the threshold, so it actually counts as a soft drink.
So that doesn't count then. What's your number 3 beer?
The reason why I like that is if it's half the price of normal beer. So if you go to Costco, a case of Terra or something is 36,000 won, but a case of Feelite is 17.
So when you're making your criteria, the biggest if there's a pie chart, the biggest portion is price, not taste.
No, well,
And we're
That's
dealing with
really
beer.
tastes
We're
great.
dealing with beer, which is one of the cheapest alcoholic beverages. So that's interesting.
yeah, the wife gives me do you have an allowance?
For alcohol?
No, I mean for like monthly. Because I mean, my wife gives me allowance. I get 300,000 won per month.
For alcohol?
That's pretty generous.
Not for alcohol, for a living, for life, which is crazy.
Hold on. Let's think about that for a second. This is a month?
This is 1 month.
What can you do with less than $100 per week?
But it doesn't.
But your food can't be part of that.
So, well, that's where we fight.
Okay.
Because if we eat dinner together or eat lunch together, she uses our card.
Is she taking that out of your 300?
But if I'm alone and I eat, that's out of my money. So, which sometimes I'm like, well, you didn't make lunch. There's no lunch in the house. There's no lunch. You didn't make anything. Like, I don't have nothing to eat.
You got a valid
So
point.
I want to use our card, our joint card. She's like, well, no, McDonald's is not on our plan, So use your allowance.
Wow. It's almost forcing you to make bad food choices because there's not much on that card. Sorry, I gotta go eat McDonald's.
Yeah.
So how do you use that allowance?
Actually, I usually save it, you know?
Okay, hold on. We're getting off topic.
Yeah,
Let's
getting off
do
topic.
My bad.
Number 2.
Okay.
Number 3 is Philite.
Feel like number 3, just because of the cost effectiveness. Number 2 would be Terra. I think I like Terra.
Solid.
It's
I like
got
Terra,
a
too.
We're drinking Terra right now, by the way.
yeah.
Terra, if you guys
Is that
want
a
to,
unofficial
I don't know, sponsor. But yeah, cool.
Yeah, Terra for the taste and the price, you know, and you can find it pretty much any convenience store.
It's a
you
little
go
bit more
to.
expensive.
A tiny bit more expensive, but definitely worth it for the taste. And then number 1, I would go with Red Rock.
Ooh, another Korean beer.
Another.
Well, we are doing no.
Korean beer.
We're doing Korean beer.
Right.
But
So-
Red Rock, am I correct? In Red Rock, you can only get Sang.
Yeah, you
Fresh.
You can't get it at the Penny John.
What am I trying to say? You can only get it draft.
The fresh
on
juice.
draft.
Only get it fresh.
Yeah, I think Red Rock because of the nostalgia of it.
The first.
It was the first so you always had like OB or height, and that didn't taste great when I first came here. So I would always get, pay the extra 50 cents and get the Red Rock. So some of the bars I went to, I drank a lot of Red Rock in my day. So I think it's more of a nostalgia thing.
Okay.
So
All right. Question number 2. Top 3 super villains.
ooh,
This could be a cartoon villain. This could be a James Bond character.
that's tough.
Top 3.
So I think number 3, who's the dude from Simpsons?
Mayor Quimby?
Sideshow Bob?
Is he the
count-
villain? I
does
thought
he
it was
count as a
Mr.
villain?
Smithers was the main villain.
No, Mr. Smithers is the assistant to Mr. Burns.
Oh,
So he's actually a good guy.
freaking
Whoa,
Christ.
throwing heat at him, huh?
It's been a while, guys.
So I'd say Sideshow Bob. I always like the House of Horrors, the Halloween episodes. If you didn't check out the recent one, it was pretty funny.
Was it pretty good?
Sideshow Bob. It's a good one. That's unexpected, but yeah. Good.
Okay.
Good. Okay.
Does anyone miss old Homer that used to just yell at Bart and scream and choke him? Versus new Homer that's just an idiot that eats donuts?
You got to be PC nowadays, You can't be beating kids on TV.
To beat him behind closed doors where no one can see.
Jack, can I talk to you for a second outside?
Yeah, so
Number 2?
I think Sideshow Bob number 3,
Okay.
and then the top 2 I have to go with the Joker. So
The Joker's top 2?
Joker's top 2.
I would go with probably number 2. I'll go with Heath Ledger Joker from the Christian Bale Batman series, and then number 1 I'll go with the most recent Joaquin Phoenix.
You think he beat Heath?
Oh man, that was creepy.
I think.
Wait.
portrayal.
Say Heath again.
You think he beat Heath? I think that's going to be controversial because a lot of people are gonna be like, "How could you say that he was because anytime someone dies,
Right.
then there's like a whole.
He's untouchable.
It's like untouchable, right?
Right.
I mean, I thought he was good.
I thought he was all right.
I think he was
You're
good.
shitting on his legacy.
No, I
He's
thought
dead
he was
guy.
amazing, but I think, I remember I saw the newest Joker with Joaquin, at
pretty
at
fucking
Coex.
good, yeah.
Saw it at 1 a.m. I finished up at Coex and I walked home by myself. I actually saw that movie by myself and I was really creeped out. I felt like,
Wait, from Coex to
Just
your house
his-
is a long walk.
yeah. Well, the old one.
I know.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not because you have to walk uphill. Right?
Well, I was gonna ride the scooter, but they were all gone.
You choose your scooter well, my friend. That's a good topic too, but we'll save that for another time.
All right.
Did you see it? Yeah. Did you see the new changes they put in?
What? Oh, you can't ride on the sidewalk anymore.
Scooters are banned from riding on the sidewalk now.
You're on the road. You got to fight it out with buses and
They
cars.
passed the law
now.
yesterday.
No way.
Yeah.
What shall we do? All right. Well, next question here. Top 3 romantic comedies.
Rom-com. Ryan, you're a softie. You're a softie, bro.
I had to expose you. My bad, but I had to expose you.
Well,
Ryan's never even seen a horror movie.
I get scared. Yeah, I've seen some rom-coms in my day.
Of course.
Definitely.
Top-
I have an idea of what you're going to say, and if it comes up, I'm going to shit on you. But go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So I might have to start in reverse order on this one.
Oh.
and go with
number
number
one
1 first.
Okay.
Definitely The Notebook.
I knew it. I knew it. I knew you were going to just do that.
I mean, it's great, you know. Like,
Is it the best
that
one, or is it
true
the?
love
Is
right
it
there.
like just like the one that everyone has to say?
No, I mean,
Did you cry
the
when you
first time I saw it?
Did you cry?
I may have gotten something in my eye. I may have had a little allergy going on, you know. Seeing the dynamic, the dynamic.
Which part was it? Which part that made you cry?
When you realize that they were talking about their own life.
Ooh.
Or the bed scene when at the end, spoiler alert, at the end where they pass at the same time together in the bed.
True love.
True love right there, man. True love.
All right. Hard to argue.
That's really hard to synchronize, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Synchronized death.
Synchronize. Yeah.
Good timing.
Yeah.
Number two.
Number two, well, can I consider About Time a romantic comedy? Is that a rom-com?
About time.
I don't think I've ever seen About
I've seen
Time.
that
So
movie.
You haven't seen About Time?
don't get mad. See, that's how into rom coms
Are we
he is. So tell me, I may have seen it. Like, I don't really remember movies very well. I'm getting older. I think it's like Alzheimer's, early onset. But go ahead, explain it to me.
I think the Korean audience is going to be really upset with you on this.
About Time.
It's hugely popular.
It's
for
a Korean
Koreans.
movie?
No. It's a Western movie. It's got
Because they come up with weird names for Korean movies. It'll be like The Monster, and they'll be like A Time Along the Han River or something like that. And it's just like, how does that even translate?
yeah.
About time. Who's in it?
So Rachel McAdams is in it. So she's the girl. She's the woman from the.
You just like
the
Rachel
Notebook.
McAdams.
I do. I got a little crush. She's good. So it's her, and it's the redheaded guy. I don't know his name.
Carrot Top.
Yeah, he's
his
in
name?
the Machida movie. Did you see that?
Machida?
Is that what it's called?
Where is that?
Do you have Netflix?
Do you mean cheetah?
So he plays
My
in
cheetah?
the AI movie. No, he's in Black Mirror episode with the AI, the human AI thing.
All Black Mirror episodes are AI.
Yeah, it's a redheaded guy from that.
Okay.
So anyway,
British guy.
British guy.
I'm guessing.
Yes.
Redhead.
British guy. So it's about him. He has some ability to time travel, which sounds really weird, but just the relationship between him and his wife, Rachel McAdams, and kind of appreciating life. That's, I really like that movie. And
Okay.
for my wife, kind of, I guess it comes down to that. So her father passed away very young. So he died at 43 of cancer.
Oh wow.
So this movie is a lot about the dynamic. I keep saying dynamic. The relationship between him and his father. So she cries every time we watch this movie. So it just kind of means something a little bit more special for her. So
Gotcha.
seen it a lot. Used
Wow.
that song at our wedding. So it's kind of special. So that'd be number two. Getting all sappy here.
Wow. I always thought your wedding was, I just remember like the thong song playing over like on repeat.
Well, we had to have that. Drew Hill's from Baltimore,
Right,
my
okay.
hometown.
There we go.
We represent Cisco a lot,
Uh-huh.
There you
but
go, there you go.
after the
Sing around the
song,
drink.
we throw in some About Time.
I like, it shows the depth and the range.
Yeah,
Depth in the range.
different sizes of a lot of different things.
Right,
so that would be number two, and then number three, maybe 50 First Dates.
Really?
Ooh, a comedy.
Yeah,
More comedy than rom.
no, this is more. I would say
You think it's more rom than com?
rom-com. Just Drew Barrymore, Adam Sandler.
The thing about Drew Barrymore, Adam Sandler combo plate lunch is that it happens so often. I feel like it's the same. It's
But
very
if-
similar. Their chemistry is, even though the story might be different.
But if you saw that movie for the first time, and you didn't see the 35 movies that preceded that movie,
Yeah, right.
This was the first, right?
Was it the first?
I think it was the first.
I'm not gonna. We don't have Wikipedia in front of us, but you could be right. It could be the first. It was a while ago.
Wedding Singer.
What do you think was the
Ah,
Bobby.
Wedding. I would actually, now that you brought up Wedding Singer, which I haven't thought about forever, I would say that's a better. But it's your choices. It's your choices. And I won't directly shit on your choices.
All right. So last question here. All right. We went through supervillains and beers and romantic comedies. Last question. Top 3 basketball players.
Ooh. Ooh, okay.
To round out our top 3 list.
Oh man, that is tough. I definitely want to hear your guys' answer on
I was
this
gonna
one.
add, the first question I was thinking was the first, like the top 3 Baltimore Bullet players.
But
But I'll go top 3 basketball players.
the Wizards. Yeah, what a terrible name, huh?
They could have done better.
Wizards.
They could have done better. It didn't have to be the Bullets, but it didn't have to be the Wizards.
No, we could have done a lot
Could
better.
have done better.
What, the Washington basketball team, would that be better?
Be better than Wizards.
Washington Generals is better.
I mean,
honestly.
the Washington football team.
Yeah, it's solid. It's better than the.
got-
It's better than the Wizards.
Sounds good, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyways, top 3 basketball players.
All right, so number 3 would be the Worm. Definitely Dennis Rodman.
Worm.
Yeah,
Really?
I love Dennis
Interesting.
Rodman. Like seeing him battle with Karl Malone and Shaq.
Those are great,
and
epic.
Charles
And
Barkley.
Alonzo Mourning.
Alonzo Moore. Oh, Alonzo battles.
Epic.
Always getting in Alonzo's head. You know,
Always.
always fighting. And his time with the Bulls and even the bad boy Pistons, you know, like
Yeah.
his ability to lock down, 1 through 5 was amazing. And just his story, I've seen his documentary.
Yeah.
How he came from was just playing at the Y or something, 19 years old.
Right.
Community college picked him up and then,
That's crazy.
kind of brought him
Became
into
a Hall of
play.
Famer.
Hall of Famer.
Right.
Hall of Fame partier, Hall of Fame basketball player. So definitely the Worm, number 3. Number 2, probably Mike Miller.
Really?
NBA
White Mike.
champion.
Yeah, NBA champion, White Mike. I think I used to follow him in college when he was at Florida. I loved his
He's
shot.
like a South Dakota guy or something like that, like
Some-
originally, right?
Right.
From yeah.
Which is crazy in and of itself. Phil Jackson's a Dakota guy too. And you just think, how was there enough competition out there?
Well, if you go to South Dakota, where I played, you'll understand.
Was there a lot of competition?
No, there was not.
It's like, how is that how does that breed somebody?
Look, if
with
you're in the
that?
Johnny Carinos in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, you'll understand.
Ooh. Speaking
Or you
speaking Chinese over there.
Yeah. But our listeners in South Dakota are
They
really
understand. Shout
just
out.
getting something out of this.
They get it.
Yeah, so I mean, I loved Mike. I love Mike Miller at first, and I don't know if you guys remember when he could actually put the ball on the floor and drive.
Are we talking Florida? We got to go back to Florida.
Florida, Memphis.
No, Memphis, man.
He got drafted in Memphis. He was a
I don't think I
baller.
watched enough Memphis basketball.
He used to throw it down on some people.
He used to when he was young. He used to be more than just a shooter.
Did he play with Al Horford, right? Or no? Is he way before Al Horford?
That was a different time. That was Al Horford, Noah,
Oh yeah.
and
But he was on.
who's the headband
He was
guy?
on Florida. Who was on Mike Miller's
The
team?
guy who plays Minnesota. Yeah.
Didn't Mike Miller win a national championship too?
yeah.
Who was on his team though? It wasn't like he did it by himself.
That's a good question.
Okay, that's a.
I
topic for
just
another
focus
time.
on Mike. you know,
Okay,
just-
Mike was great.
where's
though.
Mike Miller at?
Mike was pretty cool.
Yeah. So and he came and played for the Wizards. You know, I liked him there. He was tough. Got hurt, and then just seeing him is full.
I'm assuming you guys had a losing record then as well.
Have we ever had a winning record?
You guys haven't been good for a long time.
You guys did good when one of the years when Michael Jordan was there. You guys like made playoffs and everything.
I think a couple years with Gilbert. You know, when Gilbert wasn't pulling guns on people in locker rooms.
And he was Agent Zero.
when he was Agent Zero, you had
He was amazing. I thought he was like
Decent
up there
players.
with the top 3 in the NBA
For those 2 years, yeah.
for like a couple years. Yeah.
he's averaging close to 35 points a game. That one season,
Yeah.
He's killing. But then I think knee injuries or something kind of took him down.
Yeah.
So Mike Miller, number 2, and then number 1, I gotta say LeBron. Is that too much of a popular pick?
Well, what was the question?
mean-
Was it the best players or your favorite
He
players?
said like top 3. So for him, like his top 3. So,
Okay, so it can be
But my
best or
favorite player.
Like-
yeah.
So it's interesting because Dennis Rodman and Mike Miller are 2 people that probably not a lot of people would have on their top 3 list, right?
Not a lot.
I think LeBron, like most people out there, if they're picking a top 5 or top 3, they put LeBron on that list. But the other 2 are interesting.
I
Why-
thought you meant players that I like. Yeah.
So
Why
why
even put in LeBron?
why would you put
I'm
LeBron?
just-
Like,
it's too funny.
it doesn't seem to fit with the rest of your picks.
Yeah.
You know,
Doesn't make sense.
Our basketball styles are so similar, you know?
Okay.
Right. Well, now it makes sense.
Yeah, now it just comes out. No, I think I was born in 1984, graduated in 2002, and that's the same as LeBron. He was born in 1984, 2002. So I think my whole adult life I've followed his career. I feel like I've
Parallel
kind of grown
lives.
up with him. I've seen him as a young player, and just as a Wizards fan, it's hard to root for them sometimes. So I've kind of always enjoyed watching LeBron's teams play.
Just destroy it. Well, you guys didn't really make the playoffs that much, so just in the regular season, you mean?
Well, just
So if you're a Wizards fan, do you always have like a team that you actually root for, even though you're a Wizards fan?
exactly.
I'm a Wizards fan, but I want the Bulls to win the Eastern
So that was my whole adult life was, I root for the Wizards, but LeBron James, I just
Yeah.
pretty much follow whatever team
I feel
LeBron's
you.
playing for. I like his style and just, it's kind of intensity to play with. So maybe LeBron. What about you guys?
Got you.
I think like that's an interesting thing. Like if you ask me my favorite players, I wouldn't put LeBron because he's not one of my favorite players. I recognize him as probably the best player. I think he's like probably the best player that's ever walked the earth. And I'll just say that at the time. People are scared to say the GOAT. I will say Michael Jordan is my favorite player. Like Michael Jordan is my favorite player and arguably the GOAT. But I think LeBron at the end of his career, and people have their own criteria, but just like if you look at like just points and all that, the eras are different, so it's hard to say.
When it's all said and done, like for me, I would agree. Like my favorite player of all time is Michael Jordan. But like seeing what LeBron's doing, and when he retires, he probably will be statistically the most impressive player that the game has ever seen. Like the records that he breaks, if someone is able to break these records, like just the longevity that he's had, the fact that Michael Jordan took like a 3-year break. Like there was another season when he was young where he didn't play a full season. So there's like all this. Like LeBron's never been injured. He's played straight through the whole time. Been at like an elite level since he came into the NBA at 19.
Mm-hmm.
It's like winning championships, like doing everything he's done. Like it's pretty hard to argue that he's not the greatest of all time. Like honestly,
I think the interesting thing about the '90s when we're talking about generations, because there's different generations, people talk about would like LeBron, like all these people be able to go back where it was tougher defense and score all those points. And it probably would be tougher to get to the hole back in those days when Bill Laimbeer is doing a karate chop on you. But I would say there's a reverse of that too. Those guys weren't necessarily good defenders. Those were guys that just hit the weights and could use their hands and know that they could get away with a lot more, right?
Yeah, the rules are different.
Nowadays, to be a good defender, you actually have to slide your feet, understand rotations. It's harder to be a good defender now. And LeBron's like NBA all defense, he's an amazing defender in the modern era. I don't know that Anthony Mason would be a great defender now. He's going to have to go out and guard everybody because everybody can shoot. And how's he going to slide his feet and stay in front of like a Steph Curry? There's a double-edged sword, which a lot of people don't talk about.
See, I think it's got to be generational. The best player, because I watch old Michael Jordan games, and would those guys be in the court nowadays? Like, would Luke Longley be playing? And then even like Anthony Mason, when he was older in his career, would he be playing? Like he was basically a lot of these guys are just hockey goons. They're Charles Mason,
Oakley.
Charles
Smith, Charles Oakley, the Charleses.
Their
Xavier
job was
McDaniel.
just to like knock people down and intimidate people. But in today's NBA game, you have to be able to kind of guard multiple positions. You have to be able to shoot.
More versatile. Yeah.
If you can't shoot, they're gonna just play you off the floor.
And on defense, it's easier to defend when there's only like one real shooter. There's like one Steve Kerr on the team. The other guys, you prefer them to shoot. So you can really just chill. Where now you got to close out and then slide your feet every time. It's tough.
I was reading something about how much modern day NBA players run compared to older era players.
I believe it.
JJ Redick's running like a marathon every 2 days. Playing these games.
Right.
And even the big guys have to close out, like you said. You got to get out there, and then you got to slide your feet. You got to get back. You got to protect the rim, and then if you can't shoot free throws, they're gonna just hack you and put you on the free throw line until either make free throws or they're gonna take you out of the game. Right. So I think that whole GOAT argument. It's impossible to compare different generation players. Mm-hmm. And then, if that was the case, I would even say that Kareem would be more decorated, more MVPs than LeBron, more championships, more points at this point.
He's like completely left out of that argument. Yeah. It's crazy.
I think Kareem's interesting because the way he scored, no one in the modern day stop him either. Like the way Michael Jordan was, like LeBron, like Michael Jordan didn't play against LeBron type athletes. And like if Michael Jordan was playing today, LeBron would probably guard him.
Yeah. Right? That would.
So it'd be interesting because like also Michael Jordan would have to guard LeBron or a guy like that.
LeBron's taller, longer arms, jumps just as good or better.
So no doubt, like Michael Jordan was amazing for his time. I think, like you said, for that generation, like who was better than Michael Jordan? Nobody, right? And then even the next generation after him, people are like, who's going to be better? And then LeBron emerged, right? Because like Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan were very similar. Like they're like height-wise, size-wise, strength-wise, mentality, what they did, how they played. You know, that would be an interesting matchup because it'd be a coin toss, right? But LeBron, that's just a whole different animal, you know?
Yeah.
And then, but you have a guy like Kareem, where like, okay, like, no one could stop the skyhook back then, and no one who could stop the skyhook now.
It's also like the skill level in general in the NBA when Michael Jordan was playing, when Larry Bird was playing, it was a lot lower. Like now we skill train all year. The kids are coming up. They're in high school and can shoot from half court. Like, you know what I mean? There's nobody who can't shoot anymore. There's nobody a physical advantage like where you can jump and you're faster. It's not as big as it used to be. When we're just going straight off natural talent. Everyone's in the gym. Everyone's got their trainer now.
Well, like back when we were playing, like the thing was like, look, what you need to do is you need to get the horses. You need to get the athletes. You need to get those guys in there, and then hopefully we can teach them how to play basketball. If we get the best athletes around, put them in a gym, and the ones that end up like catching on to what we're teaching them, we'll take them, and then they have a chance to be great.
Everyone was trying to be Dwight Howard and Alonzo Mourning.
And like, I mean, I remember like watching like the Miami Heat practice and like some of these like other teams practice, and these guys were just monsters, look like WWF wrestlers, but not a lot of them had a lot of skills. So now they're putting a higher like importance on skill. And then if you happen to be a great athlete, then you, with this skill,
double whammy.
Then you can be a LeBron James. But like, look at a guy like Luka Doncic now. Like Luka could have played in any era because he is so skilled.
That's what's amazing.
You know? But a guy like LeBron, obviously, any era, he's so athletic, you know, whatever, right? But like a lot of these super athletes that played in the 90s, they couldn't play now because what would they do? They're just athletic.
Well, is it? I think a lot of that comes from the freedom that people are allowed nowadays. Like Anthony Davis was a point guard growing up.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And then
in Wilt's day, they would have been like, you post up.
Yeah,
you
you're
get
tall,
rebounds,
get down low,
set screens.
block some shots, you know, and then if someone comes in, knock them on the ground, you know. So, I mean, Luka Doncic is what, 6'9", 6'10"?
Yeah.
He would have been a center.
He would have been a center. Even LeBron's a point forward. You know, they would have been like, okay, you're 6'8", you know, go down low, box out.
Do you think so? Jordan eclipsed Dr. J. LeBron arguably is eclipsing Jordan now. Like if you look at stats, just scoring as many points and all, you know, assists and rebounds. Do you think Luka's going to be the guy that's going to eclipse LeBron? Because he's so young, he's got a huge in front of him career.
If he stays healthy and stays at this level of consistency that LeBron has stayed at, he's got a chance. Like the thing is, like the thing that people I don't think give LeBron that much credit for is the fact that he just like greatness for like look at Gilbert Arenas. He dominated the NBA for like what, a year and a half, 2 years, and then he disappeared. Is he gonna be in the Hall of Fame? Probably not, because he only was great for like a couple of years, right? Even guys like Chris Webber, like should they be in the Hall of Fame? They had decent careers, a couple of years where they were amazing. LeBron has been at the top, elite top level,
Still at the top.
of best player in the NBA since he came in the league till now, for a period of 17 years. Like that's amazing. LeBron, like Jordan was gone for a couple of years. When he first came in, like he was a gunslinger. You know, people were like, oh, he's a good player. But LeBron he was filling up the stats from the time he came in the league.
So yeah, I'm not sure. Like
You know?
the reason I don't know if Luka's going to be that good is in order to be in that conversation, you have to win championships, right? And he's a pretty below average defender. I would even say a bad defender. A lot of times he's early day James Harden, just kind of waves at people. And if the Mavs are going to win, he's got to step up his defense.
I'm just going to say I agree with you, but I will say it's easier to improve at defense because defense basically just means you have a willingness to learn defense and want to be, and he's definitely got the intelligence to know how to play defense. Offense, you can want to be a great shooter and it doesn't work out for everybody. You can want to be a great scorer and want to be, you know, it's a lot of opportunity, luck, and just getting it. Like it's a lot harder to be the offensive side of that coin.
But then at the same point in time, like take that Dallas team, right? Dirk Nowitzki wasn't a great defender for his whole, Steve Nash. These guys were MVP, going to the Hall of Fame in that quality where people are like, yo, these guys were amazing, like great players. Like if Luka doesn't become the kind of defender that LeBron does, will that take away from his greatness of what he could possibly like achieve? Like say he wins championships and all this stuff, right? But he's still like an average defender. Or people would be like, yeah, he would be great, but just terrible defender.
The thing about in the GOAT category, no one rates defense, even though Michael Jordan and LeBron were both great defenders.
Yeah.
Most of the time they're looking at like, oh, he was the greatest scorer. He was the greatest assists and rebounds go in there. And Luka's a great rebounder for his size.
So they said like, I was looking at I think it was like Jalen Rose maybe one of his like podcasts a couple days ago about like their ranking. Like, okay, look, if we're talking about the GOAT, we need to look at like certain categories, right? You can be like, oh, he was great. Okay, you think he's great. You think he's great. You have your opinion, right? But if you look at what they've won, like scoring titles, okay, Jordan, MVPs, what they're equal, right? NBA titles, Jordan's there. NBA Finals MVPs, Jordan's there. But then you look at Defensive Player of the Year, first team All Defense, All NBA, these kind of things. Then the debate gets interesting because Jordan won Defensive Player of the Year,
and he was always like first team, second team,
right,
up there.
But like all the other categories, it's debatable, right? But like that one thing,
yeah.
Well, LeBron's always going to have the longevity, so
Right.
he'll have the most
Which
points,
is a
he'll have
huge
the
part
most
of it.
rebounds,
Yeah.
he'll have the most assists.
so stat wise, right?
And then people argue against that. They say, well, the game's different. We have modern day medicine. People take care of their bodies more. But he's still revolutionary in that fact.
For sure.
What does he spend $1 million a year on his body?
But he's never led the league in scoring, has he?
I don't think so. I think not with KD. No.
But he'll probably retire as the greatest scorer in NBA history.
The other thing about points too is you got to remember that back in the day, like Wilt and these guys, there was only like 8 teams in the league. They didn't play that many games. The playoffs was like super quick.
Well, they're playing against like plumbers and electricians.
Yeah, so it's like,
stuff,
who are
right?
you playing? It's like when you watch Zion play against the high school teams. Like, yeah, you're having these great highlights and dunks, but you're playing against like, But
Yeah. Well, what is Zion? He lived in Maine or something, or Vermont or something. The kids, he was playing like ninth grade little 110 pound boys, So-
yeah.
But that kind of translated, I guess.
Okay. So we are a little bit past the mark, but at the 45-minute mark, we usually have like a little game we like to play. And today, my game is I've been into. This is what we should have talked to. I wanted to ask you about like what new because you're really into podcasts. I wanted to ask you that, but I know that you like the JJ Redick podcast, Old Man and the Three, and they do a draft.
Okay. Yeah.
So let me get my beer real quick.
How's your beer?
That's great.
I believe this is number 3 on Ryan's top 3 list.
So
Feel good. Feel
it's
like.
good. It's actually not a beer though.
Oh.
It's great.
It's a good cider.
It's a nice
Drinking
drink.
soft drinks.
So today we wanted to try a draft for the first time ever on PhaseTwo podcast. We are having
Dun-dun-dun-dun.
a draft,
All right.
and so I spoke to you a little bit earlier about my draft topic, so you can kind of prepare. And I was saying U.S. presidents because this is an election year. Why not? Mm-hmm. And you said zero about American history, which means that you're not so much of a patriot. You're just kind of like, I don't know, man.
I know a few presidents.
Okay.
Just the ones that
You know
come
what would be
with dollar
interesting?
bills.
To separate the men from the boys would be to go draft of vice presidents. Then we're like real thin. It's like, who do you remember? You only remember the vice presidents that eventually became president, right?
Spiro Agnew.
Ooh, good one. Who do you know? George Washington's vice president?
Thomas
No.
Jefferson, man.
Was it Thomas Jefferson?
I'll believe it because I honestly don't know. But you could be right.
I'm not. Don't quote me, but I think it was Thomas Jefferson.
No, we're quoting you. That's it. And if you're wrong, you're screwed. You're an idiot. Okay, so we're gonna do a snake draft, and we're going presidents. And you have to not only say which president, because we could just name names. So we could say Woodrow Wilson and not know anything.
Don't give me any hints.
You have to say.
Write
You have
that
to say Woodrow. Was that with 2? But you have to say the reason why.
Ooh.
And then I'm gonna shit on these choices. Okay, so Ryan, you're our guest.
Yeah.
So you start off, and we'll go to Eric and me, and it's a snake, and then I'll get 2 picks and go back this way. So you're starting off, and then you'll get 2 picks. We're gonna go 4 rounds. Eric said 3 rounds because he thought we'd exhaust the presidents we know. I'm gonna go 4 rounds just so it gets ridiculous, where we're just naming names.
All right. So are we starting with like our top choice?
Yeah, top choice,
The one you want?
the one you want, and then say why.
Okay, that's an easy choice right there. Thank you for the first pick. I appreciate that.
You're our guest,
And I would go with Barack Obama.
and why?
So Barack Obama, some people agree with his policies and disagree with his policies, but he seems like the coolest president we've ever had.
Agreed.
Like, so
Agreed.
is there any
Hoops.
other
He
president you'd rather have a beer with than Barack Obama?
No.
Like he could fit in right with this
Yes.
conversation.
Yes.
Really?
Talking about basketball.
Who would you rather have a beer with? Real quick.
Bill Clinton.
But I don't know, with the Epstein stuff coming out, I don't know about Bill anymore. I have a daughter.
Smooth Bill, yeah. But yeah, Barack is he's a baller.
Oh no, actually,
His games at the White House were, you heard about his basketball games.
Yeah,
he would host, right?
for sure.
Right.
He would kick people out if they didn't take it seriously or if they kind of took it easy on him.
Okay.
And I've heard him on like Bill Simmons' podcast.
I get it. You love Barack. You got a boner right now. Cover yourself. Okay. I will just say this about Barack. I love Barack. Dropped more bombs in the Middle East than any previous president. So we got to take the good with the bad.
Good at basketball.
Yeah. But good at basketball. Cool guy. Real nice guy though.
It's tough. You know what? All right, I'm gonna go Bill Clinton.
Bill Clinton, Jeffrey Epstein. There's a connection. Okay.
With Bill. Why is that?
I think because at the time, like when like he was like the first president in my lifetime that I remember that just looked fucking cool. Played the saxophone, wore sunglasses. You know, he like was a Southerner, so he sounded like, you know, we didn't have a lot of Southerners in Seattle, so we didn't hear that kind of drawl. He just looked fucking cool.
Fast and loose.
You know, like
He didn't inhale though. He did not inhale.
Didn't inhale, but he was just having fun with his interns.
He just seemed like he'd be like a fun guy. He seems like even now, like, no, there's all the other shit going on, but like that's coming out that is hopefully not true, but never know. He just seemed like a pretty cool fucking dude.
Yeah.
It's so funny that he was a controversial president.
Oh, nowadays,
Him
yeah.
wearing sunglasses and playing the saxophone
Yeah.
was, and then you know, not inhaling was a controversial thing, and then
Huge.
that was just what 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I can tell you guys, because we're only going back like 10 years.
Indeed.
I can tell you guys have a very.
I already
you guys
know,
don't know.
I already know where you're going.
You don't know. I guarantee you don't know.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna go because I'm going Teddy Roosevelt because
Yeah,
woohoo,
exactly.
Teddy Roosevelt was just the man's man. He was like, he went to Harvard.
Of course, I knew. He was
Dude was out
Teddy.
buffalo hunting, you know, just fighting like in the White House. He used to wrestle other like foreign legations. He didn't have to go to war, but when the Spanish American War broke out, he jumped in and was like, I want to lead the Rough Riders. Like he didn't have to. He was like a politician. He was like, I want to be on the front lines in the war. And so he sails over to Cuba and leads this great charge up I forget what the name
San
of
Juan
it was.
Hill.
San Juan Hill. And does that. He did just a lot of cool things. Big game hunter, which is not as cool now as it was back then. But you know, just the fact that he was like a man's man, I really like that. And the fact that he wasn't afraid to get his hands dirty. Nowadays, you know, they have the politicians that their kids don't go to war and they never went to war and they're very comfortable sending other kids to war. But, you know, when Teddy Roosevelt sent you to war, you knew that he was down to get down with you. So he wasn't like afraid to risk his skin. I thought that was cool.
The only thing I know about Teddy Roosevelt, Uberfax, shout out, was he's the reason that we have teddy bears, right?
Oh, very cool.
Did you know that?
I did know that. I read his autobiography. It's really good.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. What was the story? There was a bear tied to a tree or something. He was supposed to hunt it, but he didn't feel like it was a sport enough. He felt it was too unfair, or it wasn't humane, so he wouldn't shoot the bear. And then they said he was soft and started teddy bears, right?
That's not what I got.
Yeah.
I thought it was part of his campaign thing with the teddy bear, but I could be. I read the book a long time ago. You're probably right.
I just saw he was out on some hunting trip, and they like, you know, did the politician thing. They just tied the animal to the tree.
Right. Let
Go
the guy
ahead and shoot it. And he's like, no way.
Stick to your print. Also, he started the national parks thing, which I'm a nature lover, and he wrote books on like on birds and like the Audubon Society and all that kind of stuff. It was pretty cool.
So Teddy Roosevelt, number 2.
Teddy Roosevelt.
Right now.
Okay, and then this is really easy for me is Abraham Lincoln. So he freed the slaves, just a really general dude, even though there's a lot of stuff that said
Honest Abe.
It was political reasons more than trying to free the slaves that made him make his choice. Whatever. At that point in time, I don't want to judge him by what what is right now. Back then, it was a very controversial thing, but he made it happen. And I think that's pretty cool. Even though he's responsible for one of the biggest murders of Native American people during his presidency. Anyways, Abraham Lincoln.
Right.
Abraham Lincoln. So you're throwing it to me now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go with another Roosevelt.
Okay.
The only president to serve more than 2 terms.
Right?
Also handicapped.
Yes.
Wife was responsible for numerous things to help like the plights of women and for the underappreciated. I think like Franklin Delano Roosevelt would have to be my second choice, just because
He seemed like a good dude, generally a solid dude.
I think like his voice of like how he reassured the nation during the Second World War, taking us through the Depression, a really difficult time, and he managed all that, keep the nation together, and led us through the war. And then with his wife, like out there helping a lot of these like other things. He also set up a lot of national parks and
New Deal,
the New Deal, a lot of this stuff. I think
got the economy going.
Yeah, I think he was pretty.
What was his handicap? I
think he had polio.
But I think it's like he could walk for most of his life, and then when he became president, it got worse and worse and worse, and to the point where he had to be confined to a wheelchair.
In a wheelchair. I'm not sure if it was polio, but I think it was. But I'm not sure exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. FDR.
Okay.
FDR.
Yeah. So now I picked 2 times.
Yeah, second and third round.
4
picks.
rounds of presidents for someone who doesn't know much about presidents. Thanks, guys.
And you're from like basically Washington D.C. So
yeah, that's even don't even pay attention. So maybe John F. Kennedy.
great
Next.
one. Great one.
Handsome, damn handsome.
Just because he's handsome.
No,
Wait,
yeah.
he's handsome or because he banged Marilyn Monroe?
Ooh.
Was that confirmed? No, I think he just represented a lot of good, and he represented that whole '60s movement in a way, and the unfortunate end that he so just JFK.
Okay.
And then who next? Maybe I would say Jimmy Carter.
One-term president. There's not that many of those.
One-term president.
Why?
He's still rocking.
Jimmy Carter?
How old is he? Like 98 years old?
He still preaches. He has a church. People go down and listen to him preach every Sunday.
And he's still like out building houses for Habitat for Humanity.
Dude's vibrant.
I mean, I don't know much about his policies, one-term president, but he just seems like a solid dude.
He had like a redneck brother that just loved to drink beer and whoop it up. Yeah, look it up.
Okay, so yeah, Jimmy Carter. I think he seems like a cool guy.
I'm gonna go George Washington. All right, because it started with
Huge
him.
slave owner.
It started with him, right?
And a strict slave owner.
I think that's why a lot of us are avoiding the older guys.
We're getting back into it.
This is the thing. I mean, he was operating like in his time. So whatever he was doing, like it's tough for us to look back and say who knows? Obviously, slave ownership was a bad deal. He shouldn't have been doing that. But the presidency started with him.
Mm-hmm.
And I think
nation.
He was our first president. He's definitely like a national icon. I think it started with him. I mean, the District of Columbia is named after him. The state where we were born is named after him.
And he got his hands dirty too. He fought.
He was the leader of the revolution.
So, question for you guys: does that get confused in Korea a lot for you?
Washington.
No one knows where Baltimore is. So normally I say I'm from Washington, Washington D.C., and then they kind of get confused, and then near California, and I'm like, no.
We're the opposite.
The other side of the coast, near New York City, and they're
people always think that we're from there.
Every time I say Seattle, or if I always say Seattle, and they're like, "Oh, where's that?" I'm like, Washington, and then they're like, "Oh, DC."
Yeah. So it's always some play here. It always gets confused.
Right.
So Eric, you're okay. So now I have kind of like a sort of controversial one. It's Lyndon B. Johnson.
LBJ.
So
interesting choice.
Nowadays in the political climate we're living in, it's like there's all like the Black Lives Matter movement and all this kind of stuff. Lyndon B. Johnson signed the Civil Rights Act. So I think that's pretty cool. Even though, to shit on him, he owned shares of Bell Helicopter when we were in Vietnam. So obviously, the more war we have, the more he profits on making helicopters. But he did sign the Civil Rights Bill, and recently with Trump saying he's done more for Black people since Abe Lincoln, I would just point out, look at Lyndon B. Johnson. I think he did a pretty good job. Okay, now we're getting. So wait, is this the end of the third round?
That's fourth, right?
No, this is third round. We're coming on to fourth.
Okay.
This is it.
The
start of the fourth round. And so because they're all shit up to Carter. I thought Carter was okay. Gerald Ford was an idiot. Now we're going back. I'm gonna go. Okay, Thomas Jefferson,
Also a large slave owner.
also our slave owner, but he believed like he was a big deal thinker in like he was a smart guy. I mean, he helped write the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence. So a lot of these ideas of liberty that have been passed down, obviously he was only thinking about white landowning males, no women, like whatever. But those were such groundbreaking philosophies in democracy at that era that I think he needs to be involved in this. He's way forward for that era. And the fact that I'm not even gonna go there. That's bad. But the fact that he seemed like open-minded, maybe.
So Thomas Jefferson.
Okay.
Thomas Jefferson.
Anything else to add?
Let's cut them off there.
Yeah.
All right. For me, I'm gonna go with Woodrow Wilson.
Because I said that in the beginning?
No, I was thinking about it because honestly, like after World War II, when all these, quote unquote great nations got together, they're thinking about a way to prevent another world war. Mm-hmm. And Woodrow Wilson's idea behind that to create the United Nations or a united
League of Nations,
a League of Nations, would end up being the United Nations. He was the proponent behind that. It was his idea. After the war ended, he was like, look, the world doesn't need to go into this kind of crisis again. Mm-hmm. And because of that idea, like I don't know what he did domestically or anything else, but I know that internationally, like this idea ended up kind of bringing our world together at a time when the world was really fractured.
Awesome. I think the fourth round's funny is like, we're just like, my pick, possibly a good man. We're getting so thin right now.
Yeah, when you get deep in history, it's hard to, yeah.
So you got 2 picks now?
No, I've got one left.
You got one?
Yeah.
All right, one left.
So I went with, Barack
Barack was a good one.
Donald Trump. Hey, I knew it.
That's the only other one he knows by name.
Oh man, that would be rough. My mom would kill me. No, I'd say Ulysses S. Grant.
Ooh.
Would be my last pick.
Got his hands dirty. I like the getting their hands dirty.
I think during his era, we needed a president that swings a big stick. That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
And just a decorated war veteran, leader, general,
Yeah.
and did a lot for our country. Yeah, so maybe Grant.
Yeah, I mean, he was the main general in the Civil War, right? So killed a lot of Indians, I think, too. So okay, so last thing, we're getting close to the. But one thing we always like to do is cover like a Korean cultural topic on our show, and we spoke about it a little bit. We're talking about Korean toilets right now.
Ooh.
So so here's the deal. The Korean toilet, right? A little hole in the ground, right? As opposed to Western toilet where you can sit down and be comfortable. So like even now in 2020, you still go to many places and you still find the old toilet where you got to sit down and squat. You're a big dude. You're 6'6", 6'7".
6'5", 6'5". Yeah.
So you're about there. Like I know that when I run across, I got to take a shit and run around. And I see this toilet. It fucking just. I'm like, oh my god, it's just a pain in the ass. It's not comfortable. It's hard. The stalls are small. It's hard to squat.
It's rough.
How do you feel about it? When you first came to Korea, were you like, what the fuck?
So I think you guys were in big cities at first, right? Mm-hmm. So my first city in Korea was Daejeon, but not even in like heart of Daejeon. Like I was like 20 minutes outside of the city, in the middle of nowhere, kind of countryside of Daejeon. Mm-hmm. And I worked at this little university there, and the university's about 35-minute drive from downtown. 4,000 students, very small, and my building only had one Western toilet in 5 floors. Wow. Yeah.
On the 5th floor.
On the first floor.
On the first floor. Nice.
They actually had a handicapped toilet.
And where were you teaching?
So I would teach all over. I didn't really have one classroom, but I would kind of shift.
What floor? You were?
Normally I'm on the 5th floor. Yeah.
But it's a handicapped toilet, so technically you're not supposed to use it.
I'm not supposed to use it, but I just played the foreigner. Oh, sorry, I don't know.
I don't know what the wheelchair sign means.
Yeah, I can't read pictures.
You're walking down from the 5th floor every time.
Yeah, but I avoided the squatter for the first year I was in Korea.
That's noble.
That's hard work.
A whole year?
A whole year. Like I'd be out at bars, stuff like that. They only had a squatter. I remember taking taxis home in order to use my bathroom, and then be like, all right, guys, I'll be back in like 15 minutes.
No close calls?
Always close calls.
Buzzer beaters.
You know,
It's the worst.
a few peeping turtles in my day, but I got home. But there was this one day I was going to work, teaching at the university. I had my coffee in the car, 30-minute drive, just, you know, slamming the coffee. I got to work at about 8:57, and my classes started at 9, right?
Responsible.
Very irresponsible. Yeah, that was back in the the 6 a.m. days, you know?
Right.
So I parked the car, run in, go to the handicap toilet, the old reliable, and somebody's in there.
Probably a handicapped person, Ryan.
Or another.
Right,
or
another one of the
Get
professors.
out.
Another one of the professors.
This is
probably.
important.
Get your wheelchair out of here. I gotta go. So it probably was another, like a foreign professor there, because we all knew about this toilet. We knew it was the only spot to go. So I go in, I kind of shake the door, I stand there, I'm like, I kind of, you know, got the clench going on.
I know that
There's
well.
not much time left.
I know that well, my friend.
I got my class started at 9, so I'm like, all right, we got to go in. We got to try this. We got to try this squatter, you know? So I'm wearing my kind of business attire, got the sports jacket with the button up,
my God.
you know, the pants. And I'm like, all right, how do you do this?
Because it's a lot easier if you got sweatpants on or like.
Yeah,
right,
you're not dressed up.
Right.
And I had no idea how to do it. Zero clue. So I get in there. I actually went up to the 5th floor where my classroom was. I go in the bathroom there, and I just basically disrobed. I took everything off because I didn't know what's going to get...
Gotta get naked. Gotta get naked.
Right?
Completely naked.
There's a lot of parts going on. And
One article of clothing could throw it all off.
I am not flexible at all. Like, I can barely touch my toes.
And this is in your
You know?
20s, yeah?
Even then. So I completely disrobe. I get naked. You know, I think I kept on my white undershirt, you know, the AT shirt underneath. And I hung everything up the best I could. You know, you got the peeping turtle. I'm ready to go. I'm like, damn, okay, how do you do this? So I latch the door. I get ready. And I squat down. But I'm not flexible enough to get really low. So I kind of...
Hold the walls.
That
Is that what you're saying?
would have been a better move.
Okay.
But
What'd you do?
I leaned back and I put my hand on the door behind me.
Oh my God! Did you lock the door?
I locked the door, but I'm a broke guy. It didn't lock
Broke
well.
the door.
So I had my hand on the wall. I'm like down. I got one hand on the knee, and mid shit, the door comes unlatched, and I fall naked into the urinal area.
Ugh.
So I just fall, and I'm like,
Was there anybody there?
and I try to lift my leg up so I don't shit on myself, you know. So I fall backwards. I'm just wearing this A t-shirt, you know, like the wife beater, the old name. So I fall backwards, and I'm like, oh my God. And I kind of like roll over to try to avoid getting anything myself. And I kind of look around, and luckily no one's there, right? But I stand up and I look, and I completely missed the toilet. I missed the squatter.
You were shitting on the floor the whole time.
I just left the steamer right next to the squatter.
Okay, so this is where we find out what kind of a person you are. What are you made of? Do you have good morals? Do you?
But you didn't land in anything?
What kind of a person are you?
I didn't.
Do you believe in God?
I didn't land in anything.
We're gonna find out if Ryan believes in God. What did you do with this steamer on the floor? How did you remedy that situation that you have caused?
Wait, what kind of shit was it? Was it like a firm? Like it was like a nice like
A nice pile, like the
was it?
emoji.
It was exactly like emoji.
Okay, that's not.
I
bad.
mean,
You could
I guess
diarrhea would be.
I wasn't that low, so it had a good drop and got the full emoji going on, you know. So I am not a good person, and I regret this.
You should have took out your flip phone and took a picture.
I had class. It was like 9:03 at this point, 9:04. You know, the kids are waiting.
The janitor's hating you.
So I looked around, you know,
Oh my god!
and I threw on my clothes and I got the hell out of there.
You disgust me.
And I left it.
You
'Cause
disgust me. That is so rotten.
what am I supposed to do
That
with
is
it?
so rotten. Just
To be fair,
What am I gonna do?
if I was in the same situation, I would have done the same thing.
okay, that's fine.
Would you have done the same thing?
No, let me just explain what I'm thinking. I'm thinking some handicapped guy is rolling.
He's not in the handicap
Oh,
stall.
I was on the 5th floor, you know.
He's in the other store.
I could easily blame it on the student.
He's not.
Oh, that's right.
He's
That's
not,
right.
He's in a regular toilet.
It's okay if normal people suffer. Okay, I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. You get a pass.
Yeah. Appreciate that.
If it was the handicap stall, mister, we'd be having a different conversation.
It wasn't my fault, you know. It was whoever that
Wasn't
person
my
was
fault.
who stole the handicapped toilet from me that morning. You know,
Bastards.
Okay.
the cleaning woman can blame her.
Honestly, we're at the end of our time, but I just real quick, when was the last time you used a Korean toilet? Like original Korean toilet? The last time. So
last
we're talking
time.
about Daejeon. This is however many years ago.
So also like they say that like that toilet and the way you sit when you take a shit is actually better for
It's
you.
better,
Right.
ergonomic.
Right. It's actually better for you, like better, easier on your system. To
Hunters
shit
and
that way.
gatherers, we evolved to shit that way, squatting.
Well, there's a whole like $1 million business based on that, right?
Yes,
That
a
Shark, Tank product
yeah.
that we got to keep your feet up high. You're basically just squatting, but
And we could just do it, but we don't do it.
yeah. Well, I wouldn't recommend it under those circumstances.
So when was the
Without a
last time?
backstop or a hang thing.
When was the last time you used the OG Korean toilet?
It was about 4 months ago, maybe 5 months
Shut
ago.
up!
Yeah.
Wow. What kind of chain of events led up to this? Because this is pretty hard to find these days.
So I was down in the city called Gongju.
Already that okay? We're getting
I
closer.
don't know. Do you guys know where Gongju's at?
No, where?
So it's near Cheongju, kind of
Okay.
outside of Daejeon.
I'm in it.
So my friend teaches there. Where we had
You at a gas station?
no. I was at a bar.
Old building.
Old buildings, yeah. This old bar in the basement, kind of run down, like foreigner bar. We ate a lot of spicy food and then go up to the thing. Yeah. And then stomach started rumbling. Go in the bathroom. There's
You,
no.
you hit it like a pro now. You just like okay, no problem.
Well, I knew to face the wall at least, not to face the toilet.
So you face the hood, the hood that comes up. You face that part.
Now I
I've
know.
never faced that part.
Really?
I always keep my ass to that. What's that? You got to go right now.
Bathroom.
You got to go to the
Made me
bathroom
go.
right now.
Yeah, no. Can I pee real quick?
No, we're almost done. Hold
So-
it. God damn it.
My bad. You have me drinking beer here. A little baby bladder. So yeah, I faced the hood this time and I executed it. I'd say a 9.5. My dismount. It was good.
I give you respect.
That's
for
real
that.
good.
It was pretty good.
That's real
It
good.
takes time. It takes time.
Okay, well, Ryan, awesome having you on today. I mean, just really cool. I feel like we could do a whole podcast on this subject of the Korean toilets.
I've got shit stories for days. So
I already know.
anytime you guys want to have me back.
We haven't even gotten into
Let me
Eric's
know.
shit stories because he takes this shit like probably every 15 minutes. So
It's tough. I gotta go right now.
Definitely.
okay,
Ryan, seriously, thanks for coming out and giving us the time, man. But yeah, hopefully we'll be able to have you again. And then yeah, man.
Appreciate it, man. Anytime. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you having me on and let's get our kids together. Let's get some gangster smacks.
Yeah, let's do something.
Let's toughen up Jack.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in to Phase 2 podcast. That's our show for today, and we'll see you next week.